Welcome to our Feature Flag Series Part 4. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to our Feature Flag series. In this video, we are going to add a utility method to switch between two features depending on the flag status. This can be useful when we have two versions of the same feature sharing the same signature. And besides that, we are adding an override function so we can do some additional check before running the feature. But without any further ado, let's coding. Let's start adding some new types. The first two represent any set of arguments passed to a function and the signature of any function. If you are using a ESLint, you should probably need to disable it for these two lines. The use of the type any is not recommended because it defeats the purpose of using TypeScript. For instance, static type checking and code readability. So here we are using it only as a base for other types. Our goal is still have a strong type checking. Note that we are using generics to declare the type feature function. It accepts two type parameters. The first is a list of arguments and the second is the returning type. We are using these two types to declare the function signature. The switch parameters contain the information we need to choose between two features depending on the flag status. In our case, on for enabled and off for disabled. Note that it accepts a function as a type parameter. We can then extract the parameters and returning type of this function using the utility types, parameters, and return type. This is important to assure that both features have the same signature. Now, let's build the types package so we can use them in the client package. Now, we are adding the getFeature method in our client class. We are passing the function type parameter to the switch parameter. This method returns the function declared in the properties on or off depending on the flag status. If the flag does not exist, it returns the off function. But keep in mind that we need to pass all parameters from the type parameter f to the function being returned. For that, we are using again the utility types, parameters, and return type. Just to clarify, we are not running the function here, but only returning it, so it can be called afterwards. Let's add some tests for this. We are going to add a new describe block, and inside it, we are adding two more, one for the sync features and another for the async features. Now, we need to mock the features. Here, we are using a simple signature just for testing purpose. Keep in mind that we are using the groups we have defined in our last video. So, we have two tests, one for get the new feature function and another to get the old one. Note the use of typeOf in our type parameter. This is interesting because it assures that the on-off functions must have its same signature. Note that if I try to change the signature of new feature, the compiler immediately shows an error. From here, we need to get the feature and call it. Note that we don't know which function has returned, but as we know they share the same signature, we can simply invoke it with the arguments and get the return value. So the getFeature method can be used to easily switch between different versions of the same feature without breaking our code. The other test is basically the same, just using other flag and inverting the on-off properties. Let's run our tests to be sure that we are on the right track. Now we can write the test for the async block. For that, we are going to copy and adjust the tests from the previous block. We want to have the option to use async features as well. In fact, I believe most of the time we are going to use async features. Let's run the tests again. Okay, we are good so far. And now we can add a new functionality in our getFeature method, the ability to override the flag's status. For example, even if a flag is enabled, our override function could decide to run the off property based on some arbitrary rule. For this, we are passing the flag and the arguments to this new function, and it returns a boolean, which represents the new flag's status. The override is optional because we need it only for some use case. We need to build the types again before going to our client class. Here, we are basically putting the override function, if provided, in front of the status checking. Let's go back to our tests. Note that I'm using a closure here, so I can pass the flag and compare with the flag that's being used by override. In our test, the override is just negating the flag's enabled property. The tests are basically to add override and check if it's running the feature in the off property instead of the one in the on property. Let's run the test for this block. And now let's add the tests for the async block. I'm using set timeout here just to simulate some processing before resolving the promise. Here, we should have a problem. Think about it. If our override is an async function, what happens if you are not using await? Yes, the promise will return a pending state because we are not waiting for it being resolved. And here it is. To fix that, I have decided to use a second getFeature method to return an async function. I couldn't think of another solution. They share basically the same logic. The only difference is the use of await. Please, if you know a better solution for this, leave your comment below and share your knowledge with us. Now we need to call the new getAsync feature and run the tests again. Okay, I believe we can call it a day. We did a lot of testing today and basically finished our client class. In the next video, we are going to implement a loader using MongoDB as the data source. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video.